Hello everyone, and welcome to the first part of my Mayen world conquest attempt in Victoria 2. We'll see how this goes. I intend to live stream most of this on my Twitch channel, but I decided to do this first part offline, record it offline, because the opening of this run is very luck dependent, and so it's going to require a lot of restarts to get it to work, just the beginning. And I figured that wouldn't be very fun to do on stream because it would be very repetitive. So instead, I recorded it in advance. And what I'm doing right now is a post commentary. So I didn't record any live commentary while doing this. And I figured I would just talk about during the first attempt, try to explain what I'm doing, what I'm aiming for. And then you'll see it's gonna be a lot of failed attempts where things don't work out. But eventually I did succeed with what I wanted to do, so I'll probably include like a timestamp for where the successful attempt begins later. But for now, I'm just gonna show off the first attempt and try to explain what's going on. So let's do that. So for starters, in order to play as Jan Mayen, you have this first start as Sweden. Um, and use the release and play as mechanic, but I won't actually do anything as Sweden, so it's as pure as possible Jan Mayen run. And here I do some initial setup. I start researching medicine, and then I switch to the reactionary party, mostly because they have the jingoism war policy, which gets you faster justification time, among other things. And here I start to stockpile certain things, luxury clothes, for in case I want to build hussars later, because luxury clothes is very difficult to get your hands on in the beginning. And I also stockpile some clippers and begin building 3 clipper transports before justifying a war goal on Morocco. Because yeah, you can't build any military or any armies as Gen Mayen at the start, uh, but you can build ships, so that's what we're gonna do. And I don't bother setting up national focus points because I have 15 pops at the start, so it won't actually do anything. And my budget is also like I can't make any money at start, so I only have the 5,000 that I start with. So yeah, we'll begin justifying, and soon we'll probably get some infamy from this, which I'll be able to burn immediately through this little exploit. Because I only have one province, which is my capital, and when you release a country as a vassal, you can never lose your capital. So Norway has cores on my one province, so when I release them, they don't actually get any territory, and therefore they don't actually get released, and I'll be able to release them again as many times as I want and burn 5 infamy each time, which is going to be very useful, especially in the early game. But anyway, for now, we have the war goal on Morocco, but I'm going to wait a little bit to declare until I'm ready to build at least 2 ships, because Morocco has 1 ship right now, and they don't always build 1 ship at the start, but sometimes they do, and if so, you need to be ready to send ships out, because they will immediately send that 1 ship, it's a transport, toward your island and try to occupy it. And if they land troops there, then there's nothing you can really do about it. So you need to make sure that you intercept their ships like I do here before they get there. But once you destroy 1 ship, they won't build another, so you'll be safe. At least I think so. But I build 3 ships in total, which is slightly above supply limit, but that's fine. I can still supply them well enough. I don't need to supply them much. And I got military access from Spain, which is possible due to being at war with Morocco, which they consider their enemy, which gives a big positive modifier to their chance to accept. Otherwise, you would not be able to get military access. And what will happen now is that I will essentially just wait. I am checking a bit here how quickly I can get into position to blockade. I can't keep my ships out all the time because I'll take too much attrition, so I'll keep them in port most of the time and only send them out to blockade when I need to. However, although I can get some blockade war score in Morocco this way, that won't actually be enough because they also take into account your relative army strength when determining if they want to accept peace or not. And since I don't have any army at all, they will never accept peace just from the blockade war score, no matter how much I blockade them. So what needs to happen is that I need Spain to declare war on them as well. Because if they do, then I think the AI kind of takes into account Spain's military strength as well when determining if they want to make peace with me. And thus, if Spain attacks them, then they might be willing to accept peace with me. And Spain usually declares war on them within the first couple of years, but as you can see, they did not declare war early enough. I need them to declare war within like the first 2 years or something, or else it will waste too much time. I want to get going as quickly as possible since, well, we have a lot of worlds to conquer after, so I need to have as much time as possible for that. So if Spain doesn't declare war within the first 2 years or so, then I just reset and I do everything I just did again, over and over again. Um, so yeah, and that's the reason why it's so RNG dependent. I need Spain to do what they need to do, otherwise there's nothing to be done. And even if Spain declares war within the allotted time frame, it's not necessarily certain that that will work out because sometimes they just they don't occupy Morocco quickly enough, so Morocco still doesn't accept peace quickly enough. Or sometimes you do manage to get peace with Morocco and get a state from them, but Spain has destroyed too many of their armies, and then you won't be able to build any armies from the territory and so on. So this is actually not, I've actually done 2 recording sessions before this, trying to get this opening to work, but it hasn't worked out so far. So this is actually my 3rd recording session, but eventually it did work. So yeah, with all that explained, I am just gonna provide a little timestamp on the screen now for when the successful attempt works starts eventually. So you can skip ahead to that if you want to see. Or if you just want to see me do the same thing over and over again and not get anywhere, then you can do that too. Have fun with that. But otherwise, I'll see you when the successful attempt starts. And welcome back. So this is the attempt that ended up succeeding, and it's going to be look mostly the same as the earlier attempts which I described, but this time one thing that's different is that in all my earlier attempts during this session, when I declared war on Morocco, I did so targeting the state of Morocco, which is the largest state they have. And that's actually different from what I've done in earlier test runs. Usually I have tried to conquer Al Rif, state of Al Rif, because that one is cheaper. The state of Morocco costs 16 war score to demand in a peace deal, whereas Al Rif only costs 10. Uh, and I haven't actually succeeded in getting them to accept peace for the state of Morocco. So I'm not sure if that's actually possible, but I did try it a few times during this session because if that would work, then that would probably be better because I think that state is considerably bigger and more populous, so that would be more useful. But in the end, it didn't seem to work out, so now I went back to targeting Al Rif instead, which is good enough if things go well. So we'll see that in action here. I think, yeah, they still sent out a ship there, which I had to destroy. And it's kind of funny to get events that affect like my single province because, well, when you have 15 or less pops, none of these events really matter at all. Like, oh, gain militancy, my 15 pops are angry. What what are you gonna do about that? Anyway, so here we see that Spain actually is justifying a war goal quite early. So I actually made a save here. I should say that I'm not going to be shy about save scamming in this campaign if I need to, especially not in the beginning, because there are, even past this point, there's going to be a lot of randomness that may affect the run, and there's also very little margin for error, so uh, yep, will allow myself to save scam at times if I need to, at least in the beginning. So that's why I made that save. I don't think I ended up having to do it here though. So now I'm kind of just clicking around trying to see if Spain is occupying anything. Usually they will start to occupy something, but sometimes they don't. And I thought that might be a bad thing because in my experience Morocco won't be willing to accept peace unless they are at least partially occupied. And as you can see here I have 11-ish blockade war score, and they are willing to accept white peace with me, but not to accept, getting giving me the state I want. But I know that there's a chance they may accept at any time, so I try to send my ship seat out each month. And now, as you can see, they are willing to accept. So I just send the offer, and boom, there we go. We have successfully conquered some territory as Gen Mayen, using only ships and a little help from Spain. So as you can see, we inherit a few armies from Morocco as well. Sometimes that happens when you conquer stuff, sometimes it doesn't. I don't really know exactly why. But either way, here I make my official Gen Mayen War Conquest start 3 because I had 2 earlier attempts that did not pan out. So yeah, so this is where I will leave off, and I will continue from that save later on live on stream, hopefully. So see you then, maybe. Bye bye.